Welcome back. You're now tuned into the other side of sports. It's your host, Laws, in the building. My man, Aaron, you already know he here. We rocking out. Aaron, I think we might have hit the hornet's nest, though. I think I might have hit the hornet's nest with a Louisville slugger, though. Cause I didn't even realize that this was so close to people's hearts, dog. I just really didn't know. I mean, it just is very interesting to me because, you know, of course, talking about Jack del Rio's comments last week, we did the video. We spoke very honestly. Other pundits did as well. You know, as I started to see comments come in, it just really highlighted the disconnect that there is in this country, dog. Because there's a big disconnect. After our video last week, maybe, what was it, an hour, couple hours later, or was it a day later?
Yeah, it was within 24 hours.
Yeah, within 24 hours. Because, you know, as things happen, right? It says, this morning I met with Coach Del Rio to express how disappointed I am in his comments on Wednesday. His comments do not reflect the organization's views and are extremely hurtful to a great community here in the DMV. As we saw last night at the hearings, what happened on the Capitol on January 6, 2021 was an act of domestic terrorism. Okay, that's strong language. A group of citizens attempted to overturn the results of a free and fair election. And as a result, lives were lost at the Capitol building, and the Capitol building was damaged. Coach Del Rio did apologize for his comments on Wednesday, and he understands the distinction between the events of that dark day and peaceful protests, which are a hallmark of our democracy. He does have the right to voice his own opinion as a citizen of the United States, and it is most certainly in his constitutional rights to do so. However, words have consequences, and his words hurt a lot of people in our community. I want to make it clear that our organization will not tolerate any equivalency between those who demanded justice in the wake of the George Floyd's murder and the actions of those on January 6th who sought to topple our government. After reflecting on this situation and circumstances, I have decided to fine Coach Del Rio $100K, which the team will donate to the United States Capitol Police Memorial Fund. I feel strongly that after our conversation this morning, he will have a greater understanding for the impact of his language and the values that our team stands for. Jack Del Rio, Coach Ron Rivera surely did not write that. We're just going to keep that all the way 100. We know he didn't write that. Do you accept the apology, Ern?
It's definitely a forced apology. He doesn't mean it. So it's not necessarily he's made it clear who he is and what group of people he's standing with. And that's fine. At this point, it's up to the head coach and to the organization on if that's what they want to align themselves with.
Yeah, man.
You saw how the people aren't that smart. You saw the comments. Like, they got one mission in mind, and that's to try to shut anybody up who doesn't agree with their view.
But this is the thing that's so problematic in that approach, in that thought, in that mindset, is that when I try to have open dialogue and conversation, and many people can attest who saw the video, I'm in the comments, I'm having dialogue, I'm going back, I'm asking for explanations, I'm trying to understand, right? And they're saying, well, he has the right to be, say what he wants.
But we don't have the right to say what we want.
And to me, I'm like, yes, he does have the right to say what he wants. But once you make it public, then you have to assume the responsibility or the consequences of what you say. So, yeah, you can feel however you want to feel.
You can't go to jail for saying what you want to say, but there are consequences in life.
There are consequences.
There are millions of things you cannot say that they understand fully. And so we have to stop giving them a pass and trying to make it seem like they just don't understand. Like we just have to educate them or.
And so to your point, right? There was one comment that was made, right? Because you know, we cater to a large demographic of people, all walks of life, all of the above, right? And it was interesting to me to hear comments, you know, from people of color, kind of siding with the it's not a big deal. We should try to have and this is the problem I have. And I'm gonna read one of the comments. So one of the comments says, if Jack Del Rio must go, then the majority of NFL coaches and owners may have to go with him. Do you really think that he stands alone in his way of thinking? Though I disagree with his comments and position, he's entitled to his opinion. I'm a black man who's 100% unaffected by what he said because he's a coach, not a politician. As so-called mature adults, we must realize that no two minds think alike, regardless of race, religion, class, etc. So you, me, and all others are entitled to our own opinions, no matter what they are. No one is without fault. So when we disagree, offer grace and mutual respect, and above all, maturity. As of this post, JDR has apologized and has been fined $100,000, which the Commanders donated to the Capitol Police Relief Fund. So kudos to the team for taking this situation and turning it into a blessing for families of the Capitol Police. I applaud JDR's honesty, and I love to have a seat at the table with him to respectfully explain and educate him on issues where we may disagree. That's how grown-ups resolve issues. You find common ground by working through the issues. You don't just instantly do away with someone because you disagree with their opinions. It goes on to say, because you disagree with the opinions, if that were the case, the divorce rate would be almost 100%. Salute to the Commander's kingdom.
This is the thing. Like, there are a lot of people, specifically people of color, because we saw some from certain communities other than ours who like to get in that pass for white kind of community where they side with a lot of things, and hopefully they just pray that those people see them as on their side. Mm-hmm. So we have a lot of people, even in our community, who lean that side when it comes to these situations. Anyway, you see the guy running for senator in Texas, who was in the NFL. What's his name? Herschel Walker or whatever. Mm-hmm. So, like, being black is not a statement on necessarily, oh, because I'm black, I understand and I agree with what should and should not be said in reference to black people. It's a privilege to be coaching black people in a league that's 70% black. The entire point of this is other communities, other minorities do not have to deal with people who feel publicly emboldened to come out and speak against them and their causes in their realm. Like, it doesn't happen. It does not happen. And so we have to stop making excuses for these people who continue to do this. And it's basically, they do a bunch of dog whistling to echo their racist points from their echo chambers. This has nothing to do with opinions. This has nothing to do with anything other than race. He keeps using these like terms, talking about we got to talk about both sides and these other people. We like, it's just a question. Say, like,
what I think people are missing, right, is that when you sit on the other side of the seat, you realize that there's really no rational way you can sit down with people who have some of these ideologies and mindsets. You're not going to chisel away at some of these ingrained, racist stereotypes and just bigotry mindset. You're not chiseling away at that, dog.
Everything is not subjective in a matter of opinion. If you can't at least start a discussion in a realm of fact, you don't get to make up facts and call it opinions. Like, a dust up, 7 people got killed, including a police officer. If black people were in some event where a police officer got killed, them and their news broadcast would be out of control. So it's like they make up these things and try to call it an opinion when they're not starting on a basis of fact.
It disheartens me, like, especially sitting in this seat, because, Aaron, man, you know me personally, right? And I care about people of all colors, all walks of life. And I'm really trying to meet people as close to the middle as I possibly can to try to understand where your perspective is, where it's rooted in, and how it comes about, right? And how it's relevant, how it connects to what we're discussing, and some of the responses that I'm getting, right? from people who are, you know, when I ask a question or I ask for clarity, it's like an insult has to be shot at me. Or if you don't know this, you're stupid, or this, and that. And the thing is, I'm highly intelligent.
Your life is better than theirs, I guarantee.
And the thing is, it's like one of the comments, like this is the level of idiocracy that exists in like the social media space, right? One of the people said those players should be happy that they even playing football, and they shouldn't have a problem with it, because if they weren't, they'd probably be gang banging, or it's like, and I'm saying
that's how they view
you. You see how stupid that sounds? Like as a comparison, when we're talking about something that's just not even related, to just go to these very like elementary school. It just, I mean, as much as I would love to sit down and have a dialogue and kind of understand, a lot of these people, dog, they don't have the brain capacity to even broach these topics with any semblance of intelligence, because all that they're going off of is misinformation primarily,
and
right?
racism.
And racism, and how you feel about a situation. Like, so it's just like,
would you take a 8-year-old child and try to have a conversation about quantum physics? They're just not mentally capable of processing the information and processing in real time without talking points and having a conversation. They don't want to have a conversation with you. They want you to shut up. That's the part that I feel like Black people have to get to, where they stop trying to educate these people or feel like it's a matter of them not understanding. They are not trying to have a conversation with you. They do not want to understand anything. They do not want a dialogue. They want to lecture you on why you should shut the hell up and be thankful that you're in America and not wherever they feel like you would have been gang banging, or in Africa somewhere, or wherever third world whole country they believe your ancestors come from. They do not want to have a conversation. You just going through the comments of that video in that little bit of time. And these are mostly people who would be in this area. We're not talking about Alabama, Mississippi. These are probably people who are Redskins fans or Commander fans who are, you know what I mean, following the story of a Jack del Rio. This isn't generally, I wouldn't assume, like a super national backlash. We see a lot of hell to Commanders in the comments, and I've been rooting for this team since 1933. You know, we see like the comments. So to try to have a conversation with these people is like beating your head up against a wall. They don't want to have a conversation with you. They don't see you as a whole person, and you're wasting your time and energy.
Yeah. I mean, I can't really argue you, bro. I've been indulging in trying to have the conversations and understand. And once I get to a place where I've asked the question where there's not a to answer it will take more, I get insulted. I'm like, okay. Or there's a non-related trivial thing that's thrown out. I don't know if some of these Bamas is bots, though. Because I'm like, it's no way that people can just hold these sentiments, though. It's not possible.
You thought it wasn't possible in 2020.
Listen.
I mean 2016.
Listen, I'm saying, if you want to find out racism is still alive in America, right?
Right
go
here in the
online
DMV.
and post something about calling something racist, right? It's just so interesting to me. It's like, and I don't know. That's another thing too. Like online, you can kind of hide behind your persona, whatever. So I don't know if they're white, black. I don't know unless someone divulges that information, and then you still don't know, because it still could be all fabricated lies. You really don't know. But like, if somebody is white and they're saying that's not racism, right? But white people do not experience racism in the fashion that black people do.
In what fashion do they experience it in America? I mean, where they're the majority and in control.
I don't know. I'm just saying. It's like, I'm trying to give a good analogy.
You trying to tell a woman about period pain and cramps That's the equivalent because you don't experience it ever at all. It's not possible.
That's perfect. That's like me trying to tell my wife, like, yeah, what is you crying for? Like, what are you?
This sprained ankle hurts more than giving birth. What do you mean?
Yeah, what is you talking about? That don't faze me none. Like, come on, man. You being too, what are you being too sensitive right now? Do you think that would fly? My goodness, dog. That it's just the insensitivity. Like, they're not even willing to be like, you know what? I don't think it's racism. I don't think it's this. But like, can you explain a little bit more, like, your rationale around why you think it is? Because I'm sure you've experienced racism. It's just, man. The thing is, I used to get real angry. I don't get angry anymore. I don't get angry anymore.
You're smarter than these people are. Your life is better than these people are. So it's like you get to a point, because for a big part of history, I mean, and somewhat now, but there was a perception that white was better. White is the bar for success. When you look at our lives and the people that we really interact with, the Black people, and you look at how successful some people are, how happy people are, look at the families people have produce, and just the life that you can lead, and you don't, like, white is not the bar for success anymore. And then when you look at some of these other people, some of the lives that they're leading, some of the people that you used to growing up, media had you thinking this was the way to go. I mean, these people are automatically going to be born and just fall into some line of success. And you look at the pitfalls that these people have in their lives, the depression, the drug addiction, a lot of these other same issues that you saw some people coming up in our community with in the 80s and 90s. And you look where they end up. Being white and the bar for white success is not real. It's not real. They're humans just like everybody else. They're not any better than any other race or group of people. They might need to feel that way for them to feel better about their mediocre lives, but it's not real. So when they say these things in the comments, and people in, I feel like our parents' generation, our grandparents' generation took a little bit of that, like, it almost felt like it could be true when you look around and see how you're living versus the people that were saying these things are living. When we look at these people, we looking down. These people in these comments, we looking down at these people reading this stuff. Because I guarantee you this isn't CEOs and top execs and people with successful marriages and happy families raising successful kids. This isn't that group of people, Harold. I'm sure I'm sure, you know what I mean? It's always, nothing is 100% one way.
Yeah,
but generally speaking, we're talking about a bunch of losers who are spreading this racist stuff in the comment section. They're angry for a reason. Yeah. They're angry for a reason, though, because they're not happy in their life. Their life isn't panning out the way society told them it would. So yeah. You saw when I started laughing at a lot of the comments. I'm like, hey, young, you got to check this right now. Like, they in here wild. It's funny at this point because these people are losers, dog. And it's not everybody that commented. Some
not
people
everybody
generally were.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They disagree, and that's fine.
Yeah.
But the majority of the overtly racist stuff and the people who wanted to completely dismiss your anything that you or I had to say and feel like Jack del Rio has the freedom to say what he wants, but we for some reason shouldn't be able to say what we want. It's so asinine how hypocritical it is, and that, like, their ability to process information in real time is minuscule, though. Like, these people are not good at life. And that's the part you got to understand. Like, it's like arguing with somebody sitting on the corner, like begging for money, damn near at a point. Like, these people aren't great at life. They're not winners. So it's like you can't take the stuff they say to really mean anything.
It's like fans at the game yelling at Steph Curry on the side.
Yeah, like you a bum.
You sorry.
It's exactly that, Harold.
You're like, all right.
It's exactly that. And so at a certain point, like, the conversation has to pivot from trying to educate white people, because like, we live in an age of information. Like social media, YouTube.
No, you can learn anything.
Anything you want to learn.
You can spend 15 minutes on TikTok and learn anything in the world, dog.
Anything you want to learn. So at this point, we have to pivot from trying to believe that these are really good people. We just have to change their hearts to talking to other minorities like, hey, this is who these people are, and this is how you manage handling it. Like that's where the conversation needs to take place, not trying to lecture these idiots, dog.
Yeah, and the thing is, you know, I'm always good. I'm always down for a good debate, right? You know what I'm saying? It's just part of who I am.
Facts.
I like to talk. I like to, you know, it's fun for me. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, you know, you think about like living life, the things, thrills you get, like intellectual debate is something that I enjoy, though. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, when I have opportunities to do it, right, in a fruitful context, you know, I'm all game. But I just realized that this is just not like the soil.
This ain't the subject.
It's not, yeah, the soil is like rock hard dirt. You can't, like, it's too much that need to happen to like plant there. Like, you can't plant there because it's just rocks. No, it's just rocks and dirt. It's like it need water, it need, like, you know, just a lot of stuff that gotta happen to the soil before it's fertile to be able to like kind of have those fruitful conversations and stuff. And it's just not, I mean, it's just not the space, though. It's just not the space. So you know, I'm sure this jump probably gonna do the same. Like, they just come on the jump, start trolling and just get angry and just whatever, you know. And I mean, I get it. I do. I do. Too. I mean, I would too. I would too. I just, you know, I mean, the thing is, I would hope that, you know, because I don't believe in like, oh, like not everybody's like that. And not everybody's like without being able to, you know, hear or change a perspective or whatever, right? But like some of the stuff, the riots and stuff, it wasn't about George Floyd. I'm like, dog, when people say stuff like that, like, oh, it was Antifa and this and that, I'm like, bro.
Fox News. This is another thing. Like,
I'm like,
we just had a conversation a few days ago about how you love to troll, and it was a conversation, like a debate that took place some years ago, that you was just in the mood to go back and forth, and you might have made some comments, right? So the thing is, YouTube or social media comment sections aren't like a fertile ground for these kind of logical debates. It's for trolls and idiots for the most part. Like trolls and idiots. That's generally what you're going to find when you talk about these kind of arguments in comment sections. Like, somebody could post a picture of their baby. If you go look in the comments, somebody be like, oh, that little ugly, or you know what I mean? Like, it's just, comments are essentially for trolls and idiots, dog, for the most part. Like, it's a small percentage of people who are generally there to be like supportive or to engage
or have way. fruitful dialogue and discussion. Yeah,
because there's a way that Bama's could have came in the comments and there could have been a real discussion. There could have been bringing people who have different opinions on to have these discussions on the show, but that's not the route that they wanted to take. They wanted to tell you to shut your black ass up, but they can't make us shut up.
And can't
so they're gonna have to hold these L's, dog. That's just what it is.
And Jack Del Rio got to hold that L too.
Yeah,
he got to hold.
Yeah, your man apologized. So now what? He don't even agree with the position y'all were taking before the apology came out. He understands what was wrong about what he said now. So what talking points y'all got now?
He ain't want to He ain't trying to sacrifice his position, his position in power. He not trying to give that up. He gonna do whatever he have to do.
Because it's gonna be hard to hire him again once this is over with. Can you imagine bringing that into a locker room?
No, I'm gonna tell you what I do know. Players did not like that. And some of them had the coon chip in there and they were like, oh, you know, whatever, when they asked, and just tried to keep it cool because they didn't want to get wrapped up in it. But
and on the last video,
ain't like that.
We talked about we waiting for some anonymous comments to come out, and they started to leak about how players can't stand Jack Del Rio anyway in that locker room. So it's going to be interesting this year. They're going to have to perform.
I'm telling you, it's not going. You can't with a disconnect like that. They're not going to be able to perform.
And let's be clear: if he was good at his job, there would not be a call for him to lose his job. He would have to be disciplined. He would have to apologize. But the video wouldn't be called.
No,
Bill Belichick has to go. the video wouldn't be called whatever elite defensive coordinator has to go.
Yeah,
he's terrible at his job.
He's bad at his job.
There. I didn't see any comments about what job he did. And we mentioned that in the video too. I didn't hear any comments about what kind of job he was doing, how successful, how good he was. They talk about Kaepernick doing his job in the comments. We didn't mention Kaepernick in the video, but they talked about how Kaepernick did at his job when he was injured in his last year. But they didn't mention how Jack Del Rio. See, you got to understand who these people are. I know exactly who they are. I know exactly who they are.
They ain't mentioned his Bama record though.
They ain't mentioned what rank his defense was with 7 first-round picks. They didn't mention that. They mentioned Kaepernick's job though.
No, it's just
I know who they are.
Oh, follow us at OSS 980 at Other Side of Sports. Of course, we got the podcast coming up tomorrow. Tune in. Got a special guest joining us. Should get interesting. We're gonna pivot the conversation, talk a little more sports. You see, Aaron, we're gonna talk about it. We're gonna get into the Wizards and all that stuff at some point. Because the draft is coming.
When is coming. The draft?
I think it's the 23rd.
So next
Thursday. Or the 22nd. Yeah.
Next Thursday.
Next Thursday. Yeah. Facts. Yeah. We gonna cover it all. Definitely gonna have a show for you. Share the content. Hey, y'all be nice in the comments, okay? Please.
No. We want anarchy. We want the angry whites to keep it up. Do y'all thing, please.
We out.